Story 1. Take your hearing more seriously. Wear hearing protection, or you will be in your 50s and slowly driven insane by the constant high-pitched tone. Story 2. Fix your diet before it is too late. Many young men cannot cook a healthy meal. Story 3. You can push your body to the limit in your 20s through exercise and powerlifting and recover easily. If you are not careful, your 30s are a wake-up call. Strains and injuries become permanent. Story 4. Keep the weight off and look after your teeth. Stay clear of debt. Most importantly, have fun and make every day count. Before you know it, your 20s will be a distant memory. Story 5. Everyone is giving decent advice, but as someone whose 20s were lost in a spiral of drugs, debt, self-hatred, job failures, and just generally facing challenges at every turn by being alive right now, don't worry if you aren't doing everything perfectly. Very few people actually have the means and opportunity to succeed that early or to even address most of the advice in this thread at any point in their lives. Avoiding debt entirely is a privilege afforded to few. Chances are you will almost never have what feels like enough money. The system is built that way, and it's not your fault. Don't beat yourself up for figuring it out as you go. Life can and absolutely will throw curveballs that you cannot handle. Agonizing over whether you're doing it right will seem really insignificant when you get diagnosed with cancer and face medical bankruptcy while fighting for your life, or when your mom dies of a stroke before you can say goodbye. Also, comparison is the thief of joy, and ignorance is bliss. Story 6. If you are still on friendly terms with people from school or university, make a conscious effort to maintain those relationships. I am in my mid-40s and, through no deliberate thought, I am out of contact with everyone from school and university. Life gets in the way, and suddenly you have not seen your best friend from school in 20 years. Story 7. Take chances. No better time to roll the dice than young and single. Try another city, switch jobs, travel, etc. Story 8. Fiber. Sounds simple, but I wish my 20-year-old self had paid attention to this. When your system is more efficient, so are you. You have more energy and can think more clearly because you are less sluggish and tired. An absolute game changer. Story 9. Look after your teeth. In your mid-30s, it becomes a crushingly expensive and very painful lesson learned. Story 10. That toxic partner you are with, whom you think is the one, and you keep trying and trying, stop. You are in your 20s. It will not work. Move on. Story 11. Low-cost index funds with regular investments throughout the life of the fund. Reinvest dividends. Keep it to a simple 2 or 3 fund portfolio to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Story 12. Retirement life insurance your testicles. If you have access to modern healthcare, testicular cancer is very survivable, but if you find out early, you can avoid chemotherapy. As someone who just barely did not find out early enough, I will say you really do not want chemotherapy if you can help it. It is the second most common type of cancer after breast cancer, and about 1 in 20 men gets it, mostly between the ages of 20 and 40. So check your testicles. Story 13. Save money, but do not make that your entire life goal. Still do things with friends and set aside some money for travel and experiences. Give yourself a healthy weekly entertainment budget. In your 30s, people have families and committed relationships. In your 20s, I could rally people for a group trip on a week's notice and meet up regularly. Sitting out your 20s socially is difficult in your 30s. Story 14. Pursuing business in your 20s while neglecting other important areas such as friendships, relationships, and mental health can lead to consequences that cannot be easily reversed even after you achieve your business goals. Story 15. Stop chasing fame or approval. Stand for what you believe in and maintain self-respect. Do not let your emotions dictate your actions. Story 16. Build a life where the foundation is you alone and happy. No one will be able to take that away. You will have a good life. Story 17. The only real wealth is your health. Do not trade it or risk it for anything. It is the only thing that stays with you until the end. All your relationships, purchases, and most of your memories of your daily life will disappear. Steve Jobs would be my age now. I have near-perfect health. How much of his money do you think he would have given to have this now if he had known? All of it. Health and your life are the same thing. Story 18. Your generation will have life even harder in the endgame financially. Do not be careless with your money and do not damage your credit score. Also, do not buy things for status. Story 19. Save at least 10% of your income for retirement. The more, the better. Also, strength train 2 to 3 times a week and do cardiovascular exercise a few times a week. Story 20. Teeth. Build your career between the ages of 25 and 35. Energy levels are not the same after 35. Story 21. I don't know how useful this advice is. These are mainly regrets. Those who took chances will tell you to be cautious and vice versa. Those who live their life freely will tell you to save for retirement and vice versa. No matter what you do, if your tendency is to regret, you will find things to regret later in life. If your personality is carefree, you won't spend time looking back. In a way, it is refreshing to know it doesn't matter much. Story 22. Establish good habits around food, alcohol, spending, saving, and exercise now. It is much harder to manage these habits in your 40s than in your 20s. Story 23. The single most important decision you will ever make is who to spend your life with. Looks fade, and so do warm, fuzzy feelings. Find a partner who is your best friend and with whom you align on core beliefs and values. I just turned 40 and reached 21 years of marriage. My best friend and I are enjoying the benefits of the life we have built together and are honestly in coast mode as our investments are paying off and life is very easy. I have watched too many friends who did not choose wisely have to start over again in their 30s or later when things fell apart. On a related note, every sexual partner you choose has the potential to become the mother of your child, especially as abortion becomes increasingly difficult to access. Being attractive and reckless can make for an incredible night, but it often leads to a miserable 18 years that follow. Story 24. Your looks may fade fast. Take care of yourself. If you are a womanizer, women are not going to deal with that behavior the uglier you get unless you have a lot of money. If you find a girl you love, stay with her. That is rare. The dopamine and pornography addiction lifestyle can ruin you. Do not let it. There is not always something better. Get therapy. Story 25. Just because you dated in high school doesn't mean you have to marry them. Practice safe sex and please move out of your hometown. There is so much to see and do. You don't have to have 3 children by 25 and live down the street from your parents unless that is what you really want. Story 26. Do not focus so much on your career. Work as hard as you need to make as much money as necessary to support yourself and your family if applicable, but do not work any harder than that. Your job does not care about you and never will. The second you are unable to work as hard as the standard they have become accustomed to, they will replace you. When you are lying on your deathbed reflecting on your life, your job will not be among the important parts. Focus on what matters. Family, friends, community, and leisure. Your job supports that part of your life. Never let it come first. Story 27. Go brush your teeth now. Always wash your private areas. If you want people to touch them, make sure they are clean. Yoga, sign up now and support your functional back and knees in 20 years. Put on sunscreen. Start saving for retirement. Do it. Exercise. Statistically, your heart is what is going to kill you. Story 28. Saving money, building a career, and focusing on long-term goals. Enjoy the fun, but plan for the future too. Story 29. Their knees, they think their body will last forever. Sorry to tell you, the knees are the first to go. Saving for the future is not about putting 20% of your salary away, but a bit here and there. Get yourself a big jar for small notes at the end of the day. It will add up over the years. Listen to Baz Luhrmann. Everybody's free to wear sunscreen. There is much good advice in this. Story 30. Social media is harmful to your attention span. Quit while you can and focus in school. Story 31. As the wife of a man in that age range, I would like to point out to the younger gentlemen to stop putting so much emphasis on size and focus more on skill. If you can keep your partner happy in the bedroom, they will be happier overall. Also, put some energy into helping with household responsibilities. Not helping with the housework is usually one of the biggest issues after intimacy that people complain about in relationship counseling. I say this not just as a wife, but also as a couples counselor. Story 32. Get your retirement plan started and dialed in. Compound interest will help you most at the youngest possible age. Figure out how your pension, 401k, individual retirement account, and other plans work so you can maximize them. Or learn about the retirement plan in your desired career field if you do not have one yet. It will save your future self a lot of stress and give you more good years compared to struggling to get up to speed in middle age for less benefit. Story 33. Find a good partner with whom you both fulfill each other for a long time. I am proud of her in every possible way after 38 years together. Story 34. Your hearing, especially if you use earbuds or headphones and play your music loudly, can be affected, can and does take a toll. Tinnitus appears to be a growing issue. Story 35. The long-term effects of alcohol, marijuana, and violence. Deciding what kind of man you want to be, what kind of partner and parent you want to be, and what you need to be doing today, this week, this month, and this year to get there. Taking responsibility for your own actions and their consequences for yourself and others. Story 36. Start stretching now. It only takes a few minutes a day. I stretch for 5 minutes after I wake up and for 5 minutes before I go to bed. It makes a difference in how I feel and how I sleep. Take care of your teeth. Use a dentist-recommended mouthwash. Brush 2 to 3 times a day. Dentists want you to floss. I don't because I'm lazy, but I do keep up with mouth washing and brushing. Exercise consistently. You feel good now. You feel strong now. You have all the energy you need now. It won't stay that way if you don't stay in shape. Once you hit your 30s, that whole naturally in shape thing goes out the window. So start now. Literally, even if it's just 20 minutes, just get some exercise consistently, like 4 to 5 times a week. Mix cardio with strength training. You don't need to get ripped. Just stay active and work up a sweat for 20 to 30 minutes a day. Learn to be patient. Patience is a virtue. Things will not happen according to your personal schedule. Romance, career, pay, getting that car or house or whatever will take time and won't happen on your personal schedule. Be patient. Be respectful. Be thoughtful in the things you do and say. Things will work out eventually if you are patient, respectful, thoughtful, and keep working at your goals. Just be patient. Story 37. Make sure you develop emotionally. Most male culture lacks emotional development because, in the past, men could attract women based on income and social status. Now, women have their own money and social status, but men do not know how to interact with women without trying to have sex. Story 38. You will realize that you are only young for a part of your life and older for the rest of it. I would make decisions that favor the rest of your life. That is not to say do not have fun being young. My advice is to ask yourself if your older self would approve of any decisions you make when you are young because you will quickly become that person. Story 39. Your 20s are not the peak of your life. Do not fall into disrespectful discourse and attitudes towards others. There is no such thing as a real man or an alpha male. Story 40. These two things are huge and what I would change if I could go back. They are foundational to almost anything you want to do in life, whether it is getting married and having children and a career, or whether you want to be single and travel the world or anything else. Habits, eating, sleeping, planning, working out, and so on. Your quality of life in your 40s and beyond will be directly related to the habits you develop and maintain in your 20s. Cut out unhealthy eating, exercise, learn new things, and do difficult tasks. Make a plan and work your plan daily, yearly, and for 5 years. Don't get distracted by things that don't fulfill your plan. This is my biggest regret. If you don't have a vision for where you want to be, you will find yourself at 40 thinking, hold on, I don't want to be here. Story 41. If you find a dynamic person you are passionate about and love spending time with, do not be dissuaded from making a commitment because of the paradox of choice. I live in a major city with seemingly endless dating options, but apps have ruined romantic endeavors for me because the whole experience feels cheap and boxed in a way. It has gotten to the point that unless I am really craving some human interaction with a stranger, I will not date anyone I did not meet at a normal, real social function before. I say this as someone who made mistakes with the love of his life and regrets it almost every single day. Story 42. Get all the education you want before starting a family. Story 43. Your future and having enough money to stay off the streets and out of the homeless shelter. Story 44. Time will dominate starting capital when it comes to investments, so start early even if you start small. If you put $10 a month into a Standard & Poor's exchange traded fund every month of your 20s, you will have about $53,000 in your retirement account when you are 65. Doing the same thing in your 30s will only make you $21,000. Roth individual retirement arrangements are your best friend when you do not make much money. Story 45. Bank your sperm and get a vasectomy. Make sure any children you have are a careful, thoughtful decision with the right woman. Nothing will ruin your life for years like an unplanned pregnancy or a pregnancy with the wrong woman. Story 46. Have fun but plan for the future. Do not delay getting all of the education you need because it is really hard to go back for that master's or doctor of philosophy degree. Being alone in your 40s is not as cool as being alone in your 20s. A wife and children are not lame, and in my 30s, I feel much more put together than my single coworkers. Honestly, there is no envy in being single. Story 47. Listening before demanding to be heard. I don't mean strangers on the internet or influencers, but real people in your life. Many men in their 20s tell me they are lonely, but when I ask how often they reach out to other men to hang out and hear what others are going through, they usually say not often. Then they complain that it is hard to find friends. Story 48. 1. Form habits around health, specifically taking care of your body. Men in their 20s often feel immortal, but how you eat and care for your body now will shape your health and happiness as you age. 2. Form habits around money. Men in their 20s often spend money recklessly. If you consistently save $50 a month in a retirement savings plan in your 20s, you will be surprised by the amount accumulated by your 60s. Compound interest is a powerful force. Learn how money and investing work now. 3. Do not be a slave to your desires. Many men have ended up paying child support for many years to women they did not particularly like because they prioritized immediate gratification. 4. While taking care of your body and finances, do not neglect your mind. If you have not read a book since graduation, it is time to start. Develop interests and try new things. Avoid spending excessive time playing video games or watching sports every night. Those activities are enjoyable but are not life. 5. Do not just have a job, build a career. Even without a degree, you can learn new skills. Your ability to adapt, be reliable, and keep up with the changing demands of your field will determine whether you make a decent living or barely get by. Story 49. Showering, basic hygiene, and skincare are normal activities. Story 50. Relax. None of it really matters. We all end up in the same place in the end. Story 51. Realize that medical knowledge is not progressing fast enough to allow you to indulge in your vices continually, whether it be tobacco, alcohol, or bacon cheeseburgers. Take care of your teeth also. Story 52. Start a pension and contribute as much as you can. You will be in your mid-50s before you know it, and having no financial plan for retirement is a terrible situation. I started mine at 21, the only wise decision I made in my early youth. Story 53. That weekly or daily drinking which you believe you can stop whenever you want, and the drinking you do because you are in your 20s having fun, intending to cut back later often never comes or comes after it is too late. Story 54. Pornography is not reality. Stop expecting women to act like pornography actors do. A date does not automatically mean sex. Story 55. Travel far. It is much cheaper if you are happy with inexpensive food, accommodation, and trains or buses. See the world. Invest in short-term funds as well, even a few euros a month for 5 to 10 years that you cannot access. Most importantly, start a pension. Story 56. Brush, floss, and visit your dentist regularly. Flossing is a life-changing experience. It helps you avoid bad breath and allows you to notice if others have it as well. Food begins to smell bad within an hour when trapped between your teeth. If you haven't flossed in a month, Imagine that decay against your gums and teeth. Story 57. Your body can stop working at any time. You do not know if you will be that unlucky person. Make sure you leave time in your life for yourself and for being free. You are still young. I am 30 and have not gone for a run since I was 21 because I cannot anymore. Chronic pain came out of nowhere. Story 58. Long term. How you treat women and how you approach sex matters. Your health is incredibly important. I look around the gym and some of the younger men, I could run circles around them. The women avoid them because they are loud. Long term, long term, long term. Story 59. Do not be an unpleasant person. Men are often angry and full of unwarranted opinions based on nothing at all. In other words, an unpleasant person, or man. If you live, there are greater chances you will encounter people again. If they simply know you as that unpleasant person, they will dismiss you out of hand. You will need people for various reasons. So try to get through life with as few unnecessary negative feelings as possible. Most things most men get upset about are of no real consequence in the grand scheme of life. You do not have to be excessively flattering, but please and thank you go a long way to ease future interactions. And this is from someone who has been unpleasant all their life, only recently trying to mend their ways. Story 60. The actual consequences of most of the things we do in our 20s and early 30s, and how all the things you were sure were right just and needed to be said, sound much more annoying and smug coming out of the mouths of people younger than you, then realizing you were almost certainly exactly that annoying and smug. It honestly sucks because, unless tragedy strikes, you have a literal lifetime to go back and dwell on regrets and witness your own faults through the eyes and experiences of others. I am sure healthy people can compartmentalize and live their lives happily anyway. Unfortunately, some, like myself, let past mistakes run on a loop inside the brain theater. Story 61. As a man in his 50s, I cannot emphasize enough. Start a plan for retirement. That means put money aside, take care of your body, and continue to be curious. Part 1. If you can, find a job with a pension. If you cannot, get that $401,000 plan and look into some type of long-term investing. There is nothing worse than having to work when you are older and do not want to. I was fortunate enough to get a union job with retirement benefits, and I worked all the overtime I could when I was young and full of energy. I now have the luxury to work when I want as I wait out the clock to full retirement. Part 2. Take care of your body by stretching, lifting weights, and developing good eating habits. As you get older, health issues will come up. But by doing the things I mentioned, you can stave off the worst of them. Part 3. Be curious. Have hobbies, keep learning, and keep exploring. There is nothing worse than hearing an old person with nothing to talk about besides their ailments. The more you stimulate your brain, the longer it stays healthy. Story 62. Stop drinking if you think you may have a problem. Story 63. No need for a new iPhone every year. Do not worry about the fear of missing out. Recognize your true friends from your acquaintances. Story 64. Fix your mental health. Reddit has this idea that being over 30 means you are at death's door, and that is a terrible way to live the rest of your life. Story 65. Your mental health. If you are regularly stressed at work or home and have any undiagnosed mental health issues, take the initiative and talk to someone. If you qualify for government assistance for mental health care, take advantage of it. If you can afford it, invest in it. If neither applies, consider other options. This is not a you are running out of time situation. This is a you could be much happier than you are situation. Story 66. The top comment is about hearing, and I am going to say listening. Story 67. You are in your sexual prime. Don't waste your best years playing video games and ignoring your girlfriend. Make love to her for hours. Look for job-changing opportunities more often. Keep improving your career. Don't overwork yourself for an employer. They don't value the long hours and extra work. The people in your life will appreciate that time more. Use wax paper when you microwave food. It is easier and cleaner. Save early. Participate 100% in your retirement plan. Avoid credit card debt. You don't build wealth by paying interest to financial institutions. Don't get serious with a potential partner who has different views on money than you do. If they habitually waste their money, they will likely waste yours when you are a couple. Story 68. Contribute to your 401k or open an individual retirement account. Every dollar you save in your 20s will be worth significantly more than in your 40s or 50s. Story 69. Being kind and nice does not mean expecting thumbs up, likes, or views. Story 70. Start saving for retirement in your 20s. You do not have as much time as you think. Story 71. Take care of your oral health, hearing, skin, and eyes. Looks fade. Make sure your partner is someone you get along with. Story 72. Read more and watch television and movies less. Television least of all. I threw mine out. Get outside in nature once in a while. And forgive me, but don't get hooked on pornography. It is harder to quit than anything. Story 73. I am 41, and my nephew, who is 22, moved in with me 2 years ago. He does not do much besides work and spend time on his phone. Your 20s can be about almost anything you want. Early 20s are genuinely the first opportunity to discover yourself as a man. You get to make mistakes, learn lessons, and figure out which beliefs you held as an early adult actually hold up to scrutiny. You need to go and explore. You will be 30 and 40 before you know it. Now is the time to take action. Embrace the struggle because that challenge is likely going to be one of the most impactful times of your entire life. Here is the best part. Most of the decisions you make in your 20s will not have a massive impact on you when you are 40. Some will, but at 20 you can really make mistakes and learn. Go on adventures. Do not live someone else's life. We only get one chance on this journey. Make it count. Story 74. Go to the dentist. Make an appointment today. I can assure you it will be cheaper and less painful than a root canal in your 30s. Story 75. Yes, retirement is something you should consider in your 20s. Your 20s are the time to take risks with your career and find yourself. Get in good shape in your 20s because it will pay off in your 50s by not being overweight or injured. But honestly, the thing you should consider in your 20s is embracing your relationship with your parents. They are not as dumb as you think. They are not as out of step as you believe. They understand you better than you know. And they will be gone before you realize it. I would do anything to have mine back, even for a day. Story 76. Take care of your back and knees. In your 20s, you may take risks without immediate consequences, but there are consequences 20 or more years later. Use protective pads and lift with your back straight. Story 77. Date around but choose the right woman before you get too old, as it is much harder to meet people the older you get. Save money towards acquiring assets as soon as your debts are paid off. Financial stability and the right woman are the two pillars of success. The third is to maximize your health and fitness. Keep fit and eliminate alcohol, smoking, junk food, and similar habits. Story 78. No one is going to take care of you. Stay in good shape. Active lifestyles foster social activities with other active adults. Active, healthy adults tend to be affluent, which means you will socialize with high achievers. It is a double benefit. Start saving now and pay off your student loans quickly and creatively. Doing so clears the deck for you to accelerate your retirement savings, enabling you to retire early. Story 79. At the end of the day, you will value the quality time spent with beloved ones, whether parents, spouse, children, siblings, partners, or friends, much more than a career or material goods. Relationships are far more valuable than money. Forgiving is more important than ego. Story 80. If you are considering getting married and having children before the age of 35, think carefully. Story 81. Be more confident. No one else actually knows what they are doing either. Story 82. 2 things. 1. Learn to take care of your body while it is still able to rebound and change for the better. The older you get, the harder it will be to fix. Take care of yourself. 2. I do not care if you are straight, gay, or somewhere in between. Looks will fade, and sex will become less important. Choose a partner you genuinely enjoy spending time with doing nothing because that is real life. At the end of the day, it is most important that your spouse or partner is your best friend. One more thing. 3. No one older really had it all figured out until they got older. Your parents just made it up as they went along. Forgive them for their honest mistakes and know that in the end, we are all just trying to survive and grow. Story 83. Learn to reflect. It does not have to be a deep or long meditation. Train yourself to spend 10 to 15 seconds focusing on yourself at any time. Learn to live instead of react. Story 84. You really get hit hard when you leave your 20s and realize the world is not catering to you anymore. They are catering to the new 20-year-olds now. Story 85. Stay active. Stay healthy. Take care of yourself in every way you can. Take your mental, emotional, and physical health seriously. It will make your life easier as you get older. Story 86. Nothing. Just continue like any other 20-year-old. Savings and prioritizing mental health will come in time. Enjoy the time while you can. It will not be the same later. Story 87. Saving and investing. I spent every dime I made in my 20s. I did not get serious about living within my means and investing until my 30s. Using the rule of 72 at a 7.2% average annual gain, I could have doubled my net worth one more time before I retired. Instead of being comfortable, I could be wealthy now. Story 88. They should consider how foolish they look with their mustaches that make them appear like people from the 1970s and 1980s. Story 89. Many of you may have families and daughters. Truly one of life's pleasures. I wish I had treated women better than I did in my later teens and 20s. Story 90. You are wasting time taking all of those pictures and videos of yourself. No one cares. Go learn how to do something and stop recording everything. Story 91. Your poor health choices in your teens and 20s need to be rectified by your 30s, or else you may start having permanent consequences. Poor sugar-laden diet causes diabetes. Staying in the sun all day causes skin cancer. Playing video games 14 hours a day and all night every night causes carpal tunnel syndrome. You can rebound easily in your early life, but from middle age onward, poor health choices, especially affecting joints and teeth, have lasting consequences. Story 92. Look after yourself. Exercise and maintain a good diet. You do not have to live like a monk. You can still enjoy nights out, but invest in your body. You are only going to get one, and the better shape it is in, the better the experience. Story 93. Career, upskilling, and more importantly, savings. People are spending too much on items they do not need just to fit into society. Also, focus on health. Please move and do not be a couch potato. Story 94. Stop drinking alcohol. Start saving for retirement. Exercise every day. Story 95. Roth Individual Retirement Account and Fitness. By fitness, I do not mean lifting as much weight as possible. I fell into that trap, and my joints are paying for it. Story 96. I opened a Roth Individual Retirement Account at age 24 because the universal answer to this question is always start saving for retirement early. I don't have a lot of money in it, but it is still more than what I would have if I never opened it. Story 97. I'm going to go with everyone else. Retirement account. Even if it's just $10 a week, keep adding money, especially if your company matches it. Story 98. Health in general. Injuries such as broken bones, hard hits, concussions, and whiplash can have lasting effects. I do not want these things to stop you from doing activities, but be sure to do them more carefully. Story 99. I just turned 30 and have some coworkers in their early 20s. If I could impart anything to them, it is, be careful of creating problems someone else has to fix later. Story 100. Stay fit, stay clean. Intimacy is not the goal of a relationship. Story 101. I know this is going to be hard to hear, but don't think you are invincible. Don't think you can ignore responsibilities and consequences. They will catch up to you. Take good care of yourself mentally and physically. At some point in the future, you will have a family, and it will be your responsibility to care for and provide for them. Don't jeopardize your rights by being reckless. Also, get involved in politics. Pay attention because the policies you support in your 20s will affect you as you get older, and they will affect your children. Do not be misguided or misled by propaganda. Do your own research. Investigate and focus on the issues that will negatively impact your future and the future of your loved ones. Do not vote for someone based on their skin color, gender, or personality. It is about what they can do to make this country a sustainable place for you and your family. Story 102. You don't realize how easy it is to get in shape and stay in shape when you are still young. If you have been putting off getting in shape for any reason, stop putting it off and start today. You do not need to run miles, do sprints, or join CrossFit. Even just walking half a mile or a mile every day is a great way to start and will keep your body from breaking down as you get older. When you are young, many people are pushed to exercise, whether it is gym class, walking around town with friends, or being in sports. But when you are an adult, many people switch to a completely sedentary life because no one is pushing them to do otherwise. It is a common misconception that exercise has to be a miserable part of life that you have to force yourself to do. Story 103. Being able to be still. The world is a lot of doing, and it usually, but not always, takes challenges and stresses to realize there needs to be a balance between doing and being. Being is a wonderful dimension to bring into your life situation and brings better health, direction, creativity, and peace. Story 104. Their health is important. That problem will come back to affect you. You are not invincible. Story 105. Things are difficult when you get older. Go to therapy now, my friend. Trust me, I am dealing with challenges too. But you really need to go. Story 106. Spend time with the people you love now. There will come a time when you receive fewer wedding and baby shower invitations and more funeral notifications. Story 107. Watch your heart health. All the alcohol and food of questionable value you consume now reduce your quality of life later, and medication cannot fix everything. Story 108. Care about hearing, maybe turn it down a bit. Take care of your feet. Good shoes are worth it. You need to seriously think about marriage and children. Kids can be the absolute best thing in the world, but if you are married to a lazy or mean wife, your life will suffer. Even the Bible warns of a nagging wife, saying it is better to live on the corner of a roof. Seriously, when you see your girlfriend react to stress, that is the truth. If you really want to know what another person is all about, stop talking and watch. They will show you. Make the hard choice. A good woman will elevate you beyond what you ever thought possible. A bad wife will make every day a trial and wear you down to nothing. Social media and pornography are slowly destroying the human race. Kick the habits now and live a real life before it drives everyone crazy. Story 109. Being broke stops being attractive when you turn 30, and the so-called personal development mindset promoted by online course sellers is not how you achieve financial stability. Many of my friends from high school and college say, I am 45 years old and have absolutely nothing set aside for retirement. Take care of your physical fitness. Many of my friends in their 40s are falling apart, while I have no serious health issues. I do 3 to 4 hours of weight training a week and 2 to 3 hours of cardio. Story 110. For me, it was diet. I ended up with 3 completely clogged arteries and my heart attacked without mercy. I barely made it and it was no fun. Pizza is not that good. Story 111. Daily alcohol use will negatively affect nearly everything you want out of life. Story 112. That they will someday be in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s. I'm not just joking. They really never consider it until it's too late. Story 113. If you are not happy by yourself, you will not be happy with someone else for very long. Live by yourself for a while if you can. Learn to be by yourself. Story 114. I'm in my 40s, but I was lucky to have spent my youth surrounded by older people who shared a few things that shaped how I see the world today. Make haste slowly. Take your aspirations seriously and be mindful that it takes a long time to achieve meaningful things. It's all hard work. Be persistent, be consistent, and show up for your future self every day. Decide if you want to be a millionaire or if you just want to spend $1 million. What makes you rich is not what you buy, it's what you save. A box full of valuables doesn't chime when shaken. Don't get yourself in financial trouble to impress others. People who are impressed by these kinds of things aren't usually worth keeping around anyway. Get rid of bad company. Make sure to choose your friends well. Surround yourself with people who genuinely enjoy your successes, as small as they are, and vice versa. People who are around to help you and build you up and that you feel great about helping and building up too. Get rid of bad company. Get rid of bad company. Story 115. School and career. If you do not take them seriously in your 20s, it makes later decades very difficult. Story 116. Take pictures of your friends and family. You will appreciate looking back as your memory fades a bit. Story 117. You don't have to be so aggressive. Pace yourself and think about your back. It looks impressive when you lift that heavy object, but your back will thank you later in life if you have someone help you lift it. Story 118. Find a way to travel and stay in hostels. The best experience of my life was meeting people from around the world. Story 119. The future. I see many young men in their 20s who, while some have a plan, attend college and pursue important goals, still engage in behaviors that will hinder them or cause pain later. All work and no play can make a person dull, but moderation is key. Squandering money on excessive partying or buying unnecessary items with funds that should be saved or invested is unwise. A person should be contributing to a retirement account now, but instead, they buy the latest video game system or a more expensive car or truck than they need. Often, this is not out of passion but to impress others. Another mistake is causing harm to themselves and others by constantly pursuing casual relationships to increase their number of partners and appear impressive. Even if they have one partner they actually care about, they pursue others for fun, which can lead to problems for everyone involved. The partner may feel hurt and rejected because the relationship is not valued. This behavior can also result in sexually transmitted infections such as chlamydia, herpes, human papillomavirus, and unplanned child support obligations. While some of these outcomes may happen despite good intentions, most are avoidable by thinking carefully about the consequences and making responsible choices. Too often, young men adopt a "you only live once" mindset and end up creating problems for themselves. Story 120. Your behavior in your 20s has consequences beyond your 20s. Story 121. Learn to be a good listener. Your relationships will eventually suffer if you do not learn to meet the needs of your partner, and that starts with learning to listen. Story 122. Having a wife who is your best friend, sane, and a genuinely nice person is everything. The understanding, closeness, and uniqueness of this relationship are rare. Not many people experience that. No difficult behavior, no greed. A true team player who is always on your side. There is nothing like. Friends come and go. When they get a significant other, they often fade away. If you can open up, share, and feel like you can be yourself and she accepts that, you are fortunate. 2 things. Always be considerate in bed and everywhere else. And do not cheat on this rare woman. It is a beautiful thing. Story 123. You are not invincible. Take care of yourself. Injured bones, joints, and muscles hurt a lot more as you get older. Story 124. Old person observation. Most of your friends from your 20s are unwise, but that is okay. Understanding this will help later in life. Some of these individuals will never mature. Avoid them as they will attract trouble indefinitely. Story 125. I am 25 years old and waiting to have all of my teeth pulled and replaced with implant-supported dentures. Brush twice a day and avoid drug addiction. Story 126. The 40s are when you realize you wish you had not lifted such heavy weights. To clarify, as mentioned in comments, I am referring to ego lifting. Story 127. Edit. Talk to more women and approach them. Have more sex. Men in their 20s are having less sex nowadays than men over 30, and this leads to many harmful behaviors. Story 128. Brothers before hoes is generally bad advice for any man after college. If you find a good partner, you should prioritize her over your friends. Story 129. They will age and may not be able to work, so what then? I know people who simply cannot retire because they cannot afford to. Given today's economy, trying to save anything can be impossible. Some of those people are also in poor health, mentally and physically exhausted, and are alone without any outside support system. Consider your future self, the self who is not a vibrant, healthy, fun-loving young adult without a care in the world. We all age. We all reach a point where we are no longer able to do what we used to because our bodies and minds are failing. If you read this and dismissed it, I understand. Why would that be a consideration when it seems so far away, in a future you may never see? I thought the same. You need to take care of yourself, including your future self. Kicking yourself later is not helpful. Planning for your eventual future is. Story 130. Moisturizer and sunscreen. I am 56 years old, and I look 45. No kidding. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.